In the 1960s, many believed that the fastest and most advanced bikes were Big V twins, with massive 2-liter engines producing just 5 horsepower. However, the reality was very different. This was the era where smaller engines began to shine, becoming lighter, faster, and far more powerful than anyone could have imagined. Suzuki was at the forefront of this revolution. The 50cc Isle of Man Championship wasn't just another race for them, it was a chance to prove themselves on the global stage. Winning this prestigious event was key to establishing their name in Europe and England. In the 50cc class, power was everything, as extracting significant performance from such small engines was a massive challenge. Suzuki's engineers knew exactly what they needed to do to achieve greatness. Suzuki's 50cc bikes from 1963 to 1968 were a real game-changer in the world of racing. Among them, the RK67 and RP68 stand out as some of the most incredible bikes Suzuki ever made. In 1962, Suzuki officially entered the 50cc FIM Championship with the RM62. This bike was powered by a fairly simple air-cooled single-cylinder 2-stroke engine that was mated to an 8-speed transmission. This bike was as simple as it gets. It produced 10 horsepower at 12,000 RPM. There was nothing special or absurd about this engine. It was a decent little 50cc engine. However, in the upcoming 5 years, Suzuki was about to push the boundaries of internal combustion engine technology. And what they did was never replicated again on any racetrack. The competition was intense at the racetrack. It was a battle to produce more and more power. The RM single-cylinder series was decent, but not standing out in any way. In 1965, the RM series was replaced by the RK series. The most significant changes in the RK series was that the single-cylinder engine was replaced by a twin, and air cooling was replaced with liquid cooling. Making the pistons, and especially the stroke smaller, enables an engine to rev higher, which translates to more power. The RK65 made 14.5 horsepower at 16,500 RPM. In the upcoming years, Suzuki improved their twin engine to produce even more power. By the end of 1967 season, Suzuki had turned their noble little bike into a machine that was so bizarre that its specs are still unbelievable today after 58 years. By that time, the Suzuki made 17.5 horsepower at 17,000 RPM. This might not sound like much today, but remember the year is 1967 and it's a tiny little 50cc engine. That is 350 horsepower per liter. Totally absurd machine for its time. Now, if you have ridden a good variety of 2-stroke motorcycles, you would know that high-revving 2-strokes have a very narrow power band. For those who ride a 4-stroke, it's like riding a race bike that has 3 horsepower all the way below 15,000 RPM, and as soon as you revved past 15,000 RPM, you had 17 horsepower. Such a bike would be impossible to ride. And the situation for RK67 was just as extreme. The power band was so narrow that it was impossible to ride. To solve this problem, Suzuki engineers came up with a 14-speed transmission. Imagine you have to ride a motorcycle with 14 very short gears. Keeping it in the power band would be the hardest struggle, but anything to win. The RK67 was so much more powerful compared to the competition that they won every single race it participated in. It was the undefeated lightweight champion. Suzuki had finally achieved their goal, and they had proved their technology absolutely dominates the European manufacturers. After the 1967 season was over, the engineers had developed an even more absurd bike for the 1968 season. A V350cc 3-cylinder engine that revved to 19,000 RPM and produced 19 horsepower. This bike was ready to annihilate everyone else on the racetrack. When the guys in suits at Suzuki decided, nah, we're good, and simply withdrew from the 50cc championship, as if it was just too easy for them to be interested in. However, we 2-stroke aficionados are grateful such machines exist. Thanks to the creativity of the Japanese engineers, we were blessed to witness this amazing masterpiece of engineering. This video wouldn't be complete without the beautiful symphony and the noise of this tiny little screamer. So just sit back and enjoy the two-stroke music of these beautiful machines.